What up, Leaguers? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the Gotham Knight, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today we're in the Hole of Spoilers for Part 2 of our top 20 Fox-owned characters that we want in the MCU. So, if you're here, you already listened to number 20 to number 11 of this said list. If you didn't do that, pause this video, open up a window, go listen to that, and then come back here because you're just spoiling yourself if you didn't do that. Also, if you like what you're about to hear, okay, hit the subscribe button. Show some support. Join up with the Spectacular Spoiler League and drop us a like on this video because we're about to get right into some formerly Fox-owned characters that are gonna do up the MCU. DeepBoyce. We starting off with number 10. At number 10, we've got Kang the Conqueror. Listen, Kang the Conqueror, I ain't gonna front. He looks like a doofus, man, if you look at how he's dressed. Okay? But Kang the Conqueror is an interesting character because of his time traveling, his penchant for time traveling. I mean, he's had a number of identities, you know, because he is literally a conqueror. He goes throughout time and essentially spreads out his conquering empire in various eras of time. I mean, originally he was born as Nathaniel Richards in the 30th century. I mean, but this guy's time traveled to the point where he became Pharaoh Rama-Tut in, the ancient Egypt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And this guy is someone who is he's pesters people like it's nobody's business. If you're a fan of the Flash TV show and you see Reverse Flash in that show, and you know the fact that he never seems to be able to get rid of because he's got multiple versions of himself because of his time traveling. There are multiple versions of Kang the Conqueror out there, and I feel like he can be a pestering villain for characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
What do you think, boys?
Totally agree. I mean, honestly, if they play their cards right and they have a movie that takes place in the past, in the present, or maybe even the future, they can kind of low-key insert Kang in there and then later on have a reveal, you know, if they choose to make him a big bad guy, that he's been kind of manipulating and pulling the strings behind the scenes through different time eras.
That would be dope.
That could be interesting if they're able to really kind of make that happen, because again, the X-Men, they love to travel through time and exist in different alternate realities. So
what if there was a reality where Kang the Conqueror, in order to explain the MCU's addition to, or the X-Men and mutants to the addition of the MCU, what if we find out that Kang the Conqueror went back in time at some point before the MCU started and manipulated things so that there were no mutants in the future because he believed them to be too great of a threat? And, you know, it's up to the Avengers or, you know, the MCU's current characters to fix it and thus bring the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe officially, and the Fantastic Four, characters like that, all those Fox-owned characters that we're talking about here.
I think Marvel Studios and Disney owes you a job, Hazy, because that sounds like a fantastic idea. But you forgot one key point.
Yes,
the machinations of the High Evolutionary should be thrown on in there, because I know you're a big fan of the High Evolutionary. You know what I'm saying? So
no, listen, everybody. DeepBoyce is a liar. He's normally a gentleman and scholar, but I don't give a damn about the High Evolutionary, and that's why he's not making it on this list. Spoilers: he won't be on any list that we ever come up with, unless we come up with a list of bum asses that HazyRome doesn't care about. DeepBoyce, hit him with number 9.
Number 9 is the son of Scott Summers and Madeline Pryor, and that's Nathaniel Summers, Cable, the time-displaced son of Scott Summers, of Cyclops. Complicated story. Again, talking about time travel here, they don't really have to dip into what, you know, the whole backstory with Cable, which they're probably not going to do it, let's say in the Deadpool 2 movie, is where we'll see him for the first time. Yep. But hell, if they want to go crazy, maybe, you know, if they have Apocalypse and something, it also involves Cable. You know, because the origin stories are kind of tied. It's a bit of a feedback loop. That's not English. Feedback loop involving Cable and Apocalypse and their origins. Or, again, like in our earlier entry, Bishop, maybe Cable is just coming in from the future, and he sees the events of the present and the effect that they have in the future, and he's like, I gotta come back and fix this anachronism, like a legend.
Yeah, like the Legends of Tomorrow, right. I mean, Cable, also has inherent ties to, Scott Summers and that family tree, the family tree of super powerful mutants that they are. And, similar to the storyline we just talked about, a potential storyline with Kang the Conqueror maybe manipulating history, maybe Cable is the person sent to present MCU to, inform the Marvel Cinematic Universe characters that somebody has been messing with time and that mutants don't exist in this timeline, and Cable's come to fix it and maybe stop Kang the Conqueror. So there are a number of things they could do with Cable. He's such a versatile character, and honestly, he's a cool character as well. But on to number 8, a person who has history and who will interact with Cable in the movie Deadpool 2, and that is none other than Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool deserves to be on this list because he's probably one of the most popular characters that Fox has grown in making X-Men movies. I mean, next to Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, I don't really see anyone as popular as Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. And let's be clear, when we say Deadpool for the MCU, we 100% want Ryan Reynolds in that role in the MCU. We don't want to recast. Ryan Reynolds has been waiting his whole life to play Deadpool. You might even say he's been playing Deadpool his whole life. He has been that character since the very beginning. And we could even have Deadpool. I mean, wouldn't it be funny if Deadpool was acknowledging the previous X-Men, Fox-owned universe in the MCU? Like, Deadpool's the perfect character to poke fun at the fact that this universe used to exist separate from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but now is integrated. Deadpool deserves that role, and he's partly responsible for the revitalization of, the X-Men movies that Fox, began undertaking again. And I think Ryan Reynolds in the Deadpool role, I mean, we all want to see that in the MCU. I mean, picture him teaming up with a character like Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, yes, Deadpool's R-rated. There are concerns about, Disney not wanting to make an R-rated character, but I very much believe that Deadpool could be R-rated on the Disney side of things because, let's be honest, Disney has seen the success of Deadpool already with Fox having him be in R-rated movies. And if they wanted to do team-ups with him and Spider-Man or him and the Avengers or something along those lines, they could always make him PG-13 in those movies. People forget that Wolverine was PG-13 for the large part of his career in the Fox movies. Yeah. His first R-rated movie was, in fact, Logan. So that didn't at all, take away from how great Wolverine was, right? No. I feel like we can have the best of both worlds with Deadpool in the MCU. And by all means, Disney, do it up.
Yeah.
DeepBoyce. On to number 7. Who do we got?
Number 7, we've got Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. Human Torch, Susan Storm, Mr. Fantastic, and the Fantastic Four. They're super important in the history of Marvel Comics, and we've had a couple of movies, and they just haven't been able to get them right. It's gone from bad to worse to what the heck are you guys doing? But when it comes to major events and major storylines in the Marvel Universe, whether classic storylines such as Secret Wars, even the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, or even more recent storylines involving, Civil War, etc., etc., the Fantastic Four have been pivotal in all those storylines. And while the MCU has maybe done a few of them already, you can always insert the Fantastic Four in any which way possible. Again, they're very versatile in terms of what you can use them for, whether they interact with the rest of the heroes on a more earth, or grounded basis, or they're out in the cosmos exploring. I mean, that's kind of how they got their powers in the first place. They went out in space doing what people should not be doing, looking for trouble, and they ended up with some some superpowers because of it. Or maybe they want to take a bit of a different approach, which they kind of did with, I'd say, Doctor Strange, where they're not in space, they're not on Earth, they're not even going through time, but they're going through alternate dimensions and exploring, the Marvel Universe from a horizontal point of view. And of course, that brings in, some iconic and classic bad guys, some of which we've already mentioned, such as Kang, but then there's Doctor Doom, Annihilus. I mean, there's a lot that they can kind of throw in there.
Yeah, I mean, that is the perfect way, the Fantastic Four, the perfect way to expand the Marvel Universe, not just on the cosmic side, but on the interdimensional side.
Yes.
So, Marvel's first family, so important to the history of Marvel. I can't see Marvel not wanting to include them. Whether or not they give them their own solo movie, I don't know, but I think they could definitely introduce them if they wanted to. On to number 6. We've got Storm from the X-Men. Okay, Storm is a character that's pretty much been featured in most of the Fox X-Men movies, largely played by Halle Berry. She also appeared in X-Men Apocalypse as well, a younger version of Storm. But the thing about it is the Storm that we've seen in the X-Men movies isn't the Storm that we see in the comics. Storm is one of the leaders of the X-Men, okay? You know, Cyclops will lead up X-Men Blue, you know, the blue team, and she will lead up X-Men Gold. Storm is pivotal to the history of the X-Men, and quite frankly, she is a ridiculously powerful mutant. I mean, that is an Omega-level mutant who sometimes got nerfed in the X-Men movies as well. So I think seeing Storm in all her glory, and, you know, sort of showing her as not just a powerful character, but a character that has important ties to the X-Men team and is a bona fide certified leader of that team would be phenomenal for the MCU to include. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. A character that's been rather underserviced in the Fox X-Men movies. A character that, in my opinion, is very important, not just in the X-Men, but also in the Marvel Universe, and significant alongside other characters of color like Black Panther, Falcon, War Machine, etc., etc. You know, yeah. I really do think that they should give Storm a chance and really give her her due, because even way back in the day when we used to see her in the animated series, they still kind of punked her in a sense, because even when she would kind of, you know, use the full scope, or, you know, use her powers beyond the scope of what she's used to, she would always faint. That was the thing about Storm. Storm would always she'd go a little too wild, then she'd faint. It was always just kind of whack. But I'm like, I mean,
it was the Martian Manhunter. Yeah, he's so powerful that they would be like, oh, my telepathic interference is making me pass out. That would be the thing for Martian Manhunter in the Justice League animated series, and even in live action portrayals like Supergirl. Absolutely,
totally agree. And while she's typically not one of, I guess, the first class of the X-Men, she is super important during the era where the X-Men were they exploded in comics when Chris Claremont was writing them back in the 80s. You know, those classic characters and teams and storylines. Storm was a big part of it during the 80s. Absolutely. And you know, since they're also establishing, let's say, you know, the Afro-futuristic Wakanda in the MCU, you know, Storm has also been seen as sort of like a deity within, you know, her native of Kenya and parts of Africa. So maybe that's another aspect of a character that they can maybe kind of touch on to kind of act a unique spin to, you know, basically how she fits into the X-Men.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the relationship that she's had with Black Panther T'Challa in the comics, and I think that it would be glorious to see that play out on screen, like two super powerful people of color in the Marvel comic universe on screen. I would love to see that relationship play out on screen. But DeepBoyce, on to number 5. Who we got?
We've got James Howlett, also known as Logan the Wolverine, one of the most I guess popular, you know, just which is not doing him service. One of the most popular X-Men Marvel characters that are out there. And a character who, you know, you're probably wondering why he's on this list, because he's kind of been in a lot of movies and he's been done rather well. But honestly, does anyone not want to see Wolverine in something?
Does anyone not? I mean, all right, all that aside, put that aside, right? If you had to name one character from the Fox-owned list of characters alongside the Avengers, I guarantee that most people would say they'd want to see Wolverine. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's probably the character everyone wants to see the most alongside the Avengers. There have been many times where people where fans have said, I don't even care about the rest of the X-Men universe, just have Wolverine alongside the Avengers. I mean, Hugh Jackman has done a fantastic job as Wolverine. Ideally, I'd want to see him recast. I'd love to see Wolverine recast for the MCU, just because I feel like Hugh Jackman got a worthy send-off in Logan, and I think he feels the same way as well. But Wolverine is such a recognizable figure in Marvel Comics and for the X-Men. And honestly, man, he could bring that edge and that badassery that the Marvel Cinematic Universe somewhat lacked from a certain point of view. Yeah. I would love to see Wolverine, doing the things that he does, man, and see his sarcastic remarks while interacting with people. I mean, he's interacted with a number of Avengers, including Hulk, Spider-Man, among others, and Wolverine is just such a cool character, man. Everybody loves the anti-hero and the edge that he brings. Yeah. So Wolverine at number 5. DeepBoyce at number 4. We've got one of the biggest X-Men villains in Marvel Comics history, and that is Apocalypse. Let's be honest, Fox wasted Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse, and we need to see a proper portrayal of Apocalypse. We need to see En Sabah in all his freaking glory. None of this, on top of this world, we'll build a better one stuff that we don't even know what he was trying to do in that movie. We don't even get his goals. We want to see a powerful Apocalypse, akin to the Apocalypse portrayals we've seen in X-Men, the animated series, even X-Men Evolution. Like, Apocalypse is a beast, man. Yeah. Right? I mean, we need to see that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, boys. I mean, this guy is somebody who is feared. I mean, it takes literally like everything the X-Men, not just the X-Men, but the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, everything mutant kind has to take down this guy.
No,
he deserves more. He deserves
totally
better.
Agree. We only really had him in one movie, and it just wasn't up to snuff as to what Apocalypse is and can be. And some people maybe aren't a big fan of Apocalypse, I guess, because he's such a traditional kind of Shakespearean type of villain who just wants to take over the world and blah blah blah. But the whole point is that he is just one of the biggest threats that the X-Men face on a regular basis.
Sure.
And to obviously he spoilers. He was here for Apocalypse, and he was gone for Apocalypse. The X-Men Apocalypse movie, he was gone. And that's just no way to treat a character like Apocalypse. You don't just simply kill Apocalypse. That's not how it works at all. You don't have a young team of mutants take out Apocalypse. No, you need the whole mutant community. You need the Avengers thrown in there to fight Apocalypse. This guy is no joke. And he also has his Horsemen of the Apocalypse, right, where you can have him, kind of seduce and have his own thralls. Some of the characters that we've already mentioned, Storm, Wolverine, etc., Gambit, happen to fall to their dark side, so to speak, and are fighting their friends because they're under his spell, so to speak.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely, man. And speaking of the X-Men and them taking on Apocalypse, man, we got at number 3 someone who should be leading that charge. DeepBoyce, who we got?
We've got Scott Summers, a.k.a. Slim, also known as Cyclops, the de facto leader or the quarterback of the X-Men, the on-the-field coach, a character who is kind of maligned. People always call him a cornball, but honestly, Cyclops is a beast. Cyclops, he deserves more respect than what he's gotten in the movies, more respect than what he gets from the fan base. And honestly, he's just been used as a bit of a prop for the character of Jean Grey, which is, that's a way to bolster up Jean Grey. We understand she's an important character, but we want to see, what's up with Cyclops. He's super important in the history of Marvel Comics and the X-Men. He's led the X-Men. He's, he became a sort of Magneto type of figure later on when Professor Xavier died, and he took more radical approach to leading the X-Men and created a kind of conflict between them. He's been with Jean Grey. He's been with a clone of Jean Grey. He's been with Emma Frost. He's been dead. This guy and his family is just somewhat of a pervasive family within the mutant community that are rather important. His brother Havoc, a ton of his children, one of them which we mentioned, which was Cable. His brother Vulcan, who was the leader of the Shi'ar at one point. There's a lot that you can really do with this character who, is very kind of moody and sullen and serious and because his parents, quote unquote, died early on and he had to go from foster home to foster home. taking care of his younger brother, Alex Summers, a.k.a. Havoc. But he wants to strive for more, and he could be sort of like the Steve Rogers, the Captain America. I mean, those two characters have a lot of respect for each other in the Marvel Universe. And what we've seen thus far out of Steve Rogers is a dope character, so why not give us a chance to see that with Cyclops?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, and we'll move on to number 2. Cyclops is very similar to Captain America in the sense that Captain America in the comics is sort of perceived as a Boy Scout, and what the MCU has done with Captain America, making him, bar and large, one of the best characters in the MCU, would be wonderful. It would be dope to see them do that with Cyclops, man. But on to number 2, DeepBoyce. We've got Galactus. We ain't talking about the fart cloud that was in Rise of the Silver Surfer, man. We talking about a tuning fork looking big ass Galactus, man. I mean, yeah, they might have to change up his look a little bit. I understand that, but listen, man. Marvel has stated that they intend to go cosmic in the MCU. Kevin Feige has said they want to go more cosmic with the popularity of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Who better than Galactus? I mean, word on the streets is that Kevin Feige actually wanted to get the Galactus character and Silver Surfer character in the MCU before. They actually offered Fox to keep Daredevil if Kevin Feige and co got to use Galactus and Silver Surfer. Fox denied that, but Fox just sold Disney. Sold their characters to Disney, so now we got Galactus anyway. But Kevin Feige has always wanted Galactus, and I think Galactus is a huge enemy and force in the celestial realm of Marvel Comics. And DeepBoyce, you're such a celestial fan. You're a fan of the cosmic side of Marvel Cosmic. I know you'd want to see Galactus in the MCU.
Absolutely. And given the very talented animators and designers behind the scenes at Marvel, I really do think they could maybe give Galactus a bit of a makeover to kind of make him fit and make him look cool. Because, he does look kind of silly in the comics. I mean, you gotta be honest. He's a weird-looking dude. But he could definitely fit into the cosmic aspect, because, of course, I don't think it's a good idea to really delve into the characterizations of certain aspects in the Marvel Universe. That can get a little kind of obtuse and confusing, but kind of keep it to, aliens and just kind of weird figures out there. We had Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. If we can pull off Ego, I think we could definitely pull off Galactus, whether he is a bad guy, whether he is just hungry, or he's maybe helping, working with the Fantastic Four or the Avengers, the heroes, to fight whatever kind of threat is looming out there, in the deep reaches of space. Galactus is... again, a long-standing and iconic character in the Marvel Universe that, should be treated very seriously if and when he's debuted in the MCU.
For sure. I mean, DeepBoyce, I know you want to see Galactus, but I know at number 1, this character is probably the character you want to see done well the most in the MCU. DeepBoyce, number 1 of our top 20 formerly Fox-owned characters we want to see in the MCU. Who do we got?
We've got Victor Von Doom, a.k.a. Dr. Doom, the King of Latveria. One of my favorite Marvel characters. One that has...
Let's be honest, guys. Every time DeepBoyce hears the name Dr. Doom, he busts the nuts, man. This guy loves Dr. Doom. He's over here like, oh, Dr. Doom, one of my favorites. No. This guy loves Dr. Doom. He's always talking about Dr. Doom and how cool of a character Dr. Doom is. DeepBoyce, show him the love that you have deep down inside.
Listen, this character has been repeatedly disrespected with some, I'm going to be honest, some whack-ass portrayals. This is one of the most powerful,
terrible
characters in the Marvel universe. One of the most intelligent. I mean, he's almost as intelligent as Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards. He's almost as technologically advanced as, let's say, Tony Stark. He's almost as magically proficient as Dr. Stephen Strange. I mean, this guy is a powerhouse and a beast. And, in a way, he's also a bit of a cornball. But he's kind of Shakespearean in the way that he is. But that's kind of the reason why I love him so much. Because he can kind of be that classic, I'm going to rule everything, I'm going to destroy the Fantastic Four villain. Or he can be a little bit more nuanced. in you know, storylines where you find out he's kind of in love with Susan Richards and he's kind of jealous of Reed Richards, or sometimes where he's working with the heroes, but he's kind of, you know, Loki-ish. What they've done with Loki in the MCU, where he's working with the good guys, but you just know when he gets the opportunity, he's gonna swipe things up for the glory of Latveria and for Doctor Doom. I mean, honestly, this character I feel should be an absolute mainstay in the Marvel universe in terms of, again, just his power set and the fact that he's got Doom bots. I mean, hell, imagine some big culminating battle. He gets defeated and you find out, oh, you weren't even fighting Doctor Doom this entire time. It was just a robot that was imitating Doctor Doom. You know? I mean, just amazing twists or amazing storylines where we have the Black Panther. We know we're going to get more Black Panther movies. Why not get Doom War? Doctor Doom and Latveria invading Wakanda, fighting off the Black Panther, which we're getting something similar. We're going to get a little bit of an invasion angle going on in Infinity War. But I mean, come on. From what I've seen, what we've seen in that trailer, it looks like something we'd like to see most definitely again. You know, those two, again, some of the heaviest hitters in the Marvel Universe, Black Panther and Doctor Doom, facing off against one another.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That being said, everybody, let us know what you think of our top 20 formerly Fox-owned characters that we want in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let us know if you agree with this list. Let us know if you think someone else should have been on this list. And let us know if you agree with our number one decision. Let us know who your number one is in the comments below. And by all means, support the Spectacular Spoiler League by hitting the subscribe button and hitting that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button so you can be up to date with the latest and greatest coming from the Spectacular Spoiler League. Drop us a like on the video to help us get this video out here and recruit some leaguers to the cause. That being said, me and DeepBoyce, we're getting on out of here. We're going to be talking about some Fox and Marvel shenaniganery all the live long day. We love the new changes to the MCU that are on the horizon. Phase 4 is going to be lit. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.